opened it.
Yeah, here we go. Now we're going live. Okay. Make a good impression.
We're live?
We're live. Or we should be.
Yeah, it seems like we're live.
We're live.
People are acting like we're live. Great.
We're live.
Awesome.
I think there's a lag, but I'm not gonna look at the.
Yeah, no, there's a solid minute of lag.
Awesome.
On the stream.
I love that. That's great.
It is what it is.
Right.
Good thing we started slightly early.
Yeah, I'm glad that I got this set up. Hi everyone. I guess we'll wait for people to trickle in for a second.
Yeah, good idea.
Well, how was your day? While we wait.
Wait, did the stream end?
No. Shouldn't have.
Oh, okay. It says... my Discord must be fucking up. Oh, wait. Should I swear? It's fine if I swear, right?
It's fine if you swear.
It's fine if I swear.
I think
okay.
we should avoid, like, innuendos, but we can swear.
Okay. What channel are the questions in?
It's called events, so you can scroll up. But I can just get them if you want.
Well, you're the one playing the game. Okay. Cool, yeah, I've got them. It's fine if I swear, right?
It's fine if you swear. Okay. We'll start. You want to wait just one more minute?
Yeah, give it another minute.
Yeah.
I'm just enjoying watching the intro.
Yeah, me too. I love Pokemon.
My little heart is stirred.
Me too. The music especially, like where it flits in and out between the music. That gets me every time.
The little medley, yeah.
What was your favorite Pokemon HGSS song growing up? Mine was EX Forest.
Oh god, no, I was obsessed with the battle theme that plays when you fight Red.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I remember I used to when I had flip notes, and I was making little like soundscapes and scenes to make my edgy dogs with spiky collars cry at each other. I would use EX Forest.
Cute.
Hey, there's 60 people here right now. That's more than our last one. That's double
that's
our last one.
Yeah, that is double our last one. That's great. Thank you all for showing up.
Thank you all for joining. All right. Do you want to just get started?
Yeah, sure. Let's go. I will start asking questions and you start playing. Your little game.
My little game. I guess people can vote on what Pokemon they want, the starter. I personally think that it should be Chikorita. It was Chikorita last time, but we have a new audience now.
I think that Chikorita
this world is
deserves
creatures
to keep her top spot.
His.
So sorry.
That's so good because I was lecturing this manifesto earlier and was getting mixed results. I'm so happy to bring on the Chikorita squad.
I prefer Cyndaquil, and I want to go on record saying Cyndaquil is the best Pokemon. But Chikorita won fair and square last time, and I just don't think it would be fair to change it up.
Are we a boy or a girl? Ethan or Lyra? Ethan, obviously, I think.
I mean, my vote's Ethan.
Ethan.
I find Ethan's character design just more enjoyable to behold.
So we're boys then.
We are men.
We are men.
Can Discord friend Fairy Camper from the Woods says, can Sydney swallow pills and things not considered food? How far does the curse go in that area?
I did not expect people to be so pedantic about this curse. Wait, I'm gonna turn the volume on the game down before we start.
Enjoy it. Personally, I think that Sydney can swallow pills. I think that only makes sense. I mean, it's I don't know if it's actually mentioned in canon, but he definitely takes ibuprofen.
Definitely. Sydney takes ibuprofen like candy.
Yeah. So he can swallow pills, and I'm sure that he does just to experience the joy of swallowing something that does not taste like garlic.
Well, here's the thing. People ask a lot of questions about like what can Sydney eat in order to get nutrition? What can Sydney eat in order to like what are the exceptions? Obviously there are exceptions, because in actuality, if Sydney could only eat grain and dairy, he'd be dead by now.
No, I'm gonna record and say that there are no exceptions.
But well, I mean, he can have garlic bread. That's garlic. He can put raisins in his bread.
Sydney is kept alive by your belief in him, like Santa Claus.
Like the Tooth Fairy?
Yes. If you stopped believing in him, then he would die. So be careful. And believe with all your heart. But as long as you do that, he doesn't need to eat anything more complex than dairy and grain.
Since when were you in control of the Sydney curse?
I mean, you can feel free to disagree with me. Here, okay. Here's a lively, here's an interesting debate. What about cornflakes in milk?
No. You can put cornflakes in butter.
Cornflakes in cream. Cornflakes in like unchurned cream.
It's cream butter. I did not expect such a pedantic reaction to this one throwaway line. Like, why this one?
It's a fascinating concept.
It's based solely on the fact that I subsist off of bread and butter because it's tasty.
God if it isn't. All right.
So the answer to that question is just that there are exceptions. He can swallow pills.
He can swallow pills.
He lives
anything
off
not considered food, like dirt, he can swallow dirt if he wants. Mm-hmm. Flowers, it depends on the flower. If it's a flower that people eat often, the curse kicks in.
What is this? What is this new rules you're making? What magic system did you make here?
I guess I forgot to tell you about this, but since before you even conceived of Camp Here and There, I had this extensive rule set in my mind.
Fantastic. I haven't played this game since I was like 10, so forgive me for being a little slow on figuring out what to do.
I forgive you, but our audience might not be so lenient.
That's okay.
Bunch of fucking piranhas.
No, they're nice. It's okay.
Discord, pal, B with a heart. This individual is a gold level patron. Thank you.
Thank you.
Asks, how did you guys come up with the story idea? And I do think that this is should be Mayfield's territory because
okay.
that was mostly him.
I mean, okay, that's actually not true. It is true and it isn't. I conceived it, but you actually made the big like story decision in the beginning. Anyways, so
yeah, we can't tell them about that though.
We can't. The way it was conceived was I was wanting to make a podcast. I've told this story before. I was in Beloved's dorm and we were laying together and I was just finishing up the Magnus Archives, or at least I was binging it. And God, I'm so lost actually. And when I was doing that, I was
Go
starting
to
to get
go to Elms,
yeah.
right?
I have to go inside someone's home, but I'm not talking to people, so that's probably my folly here. And when I was doing it, when binging the Magnus Archives, I was like getting kind of angry about the writing because some of it was like soapbox about the Magnus Archives here. I didn't like some of it. My bad.
Why don't you talk to Lyra?
I did that by accident. Don't worry about it. And when I was
Yeah, so you have to go to Professor Elm's lab.
yeah, so I took the Lyra first. That was just the order of operations, I think. When I was doing that, I said to Beloved, like, I'm gonna make a fucking podcast, and I'm gonna make it so good, and I'm going to voice it, and it's gonna be great. And he was like, okay, good luck with that. And my first conception was basically, how do I make the audio format like new? Like, what's a way to have there be audio, an only method that wasn't just, you know, just tape recorder or just radio, because those have been done before.
Just like because so many podcasts rely on the trope of like a person like taking notes into a recorder, and I mean it's cool, it functions perfectly well, but
I mean, in defense of the Magnus Archives, it's genius. Like, it's a really good setup for an episodic idea. But I feel like people aren't like creative enough with audio, and so I wanted to come up with an idea, and then so I had a few ones, and announcements over like a school or a camp was one of them. And I did grow up in a lot of summer camps when I was little, and I had been both a counselor and a camper, so I was like, okay, well, I have some experience with this. I'll make this setting. I then conceived Jedediah and Sydney in name and bare bones concept.
Basic archetype.
And then I told Beloved about it, and then he's like, oh, that's fun. And then he comes back to me one night with like this fucking essay where he's like, I was just in class and I came up with like the perfect story for these two. And like explains it entirely from Jedediah's point of view. And from there, it was just we were working together.
Yeah, and I'm so excited for that story to properly be realized so you all can appreciate my genius.
But basically, we conceived it. The conception of Camp Here and There was genuinely just trying to find a way to creatively input the audio medium. And Camp Here and There is a found footage podcast, so you're listening to the audio through the found footage. And so I just find that idea was so interesting. It's something that I feel like is a lot of potential lost for a lot of like the creativity of an audio medium, to like literally make the audio the story. So yeah, that's how I conceive.
Yeah, the thing about not to continually shit talk other like stories, but there's something about like Magnus Archives and like Wolf 359, which are both podcasts that I like, and I think there's great things about them, but I was always kind of disappointed with how they just eventually kind of abandoned the initial conceit that everything you hear is being recorded. The Magnus Archives didn't abandon it quite so much, but they did just come up with the idea that the tape recorders are just always kind of everywhere and turning on, which is a bit silly and allowed them to not have to worry about it anymore. And I just wish that they'd been a little more stringent with it, because it would have forced them to get more creative with how they set the scenes.
God, not to soapbox on our fucking stream, but I would have loved to have more like if the tape recorders were a part of the story, I would have loved for the tape recorders to be the eye. Like, that could have been so cool, and there have been so many ways to wrap that up. That's especially why I like the
Go ahead. Would have been better if they'd leaned into it more.
And that's why we've had this discussion ongoing, not to bring this into this space, but that's why I think I think the ending should have been Martin stabbed John in the eyes, and then everything cuts off, because that would be cutting off from the eye. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. It would wrap that up so cool.
Conversation back in the direction of Camp Here and There. Okay.
Okay, wait. What are we gonna name our Chikorita? We have to have. We can keep answering questions, but while this is happening, everyone put in the chat. I'm looking at it right now. What we should name our Chikorita?
Yes.
All right, you can say your question.
Oh, okay. Silver level patron Oh, my computer's fucking up. You'll have to give me a second.
You don't have to say what level they are. It's fine. They're just a patron. We know it.
I
I need to air their laundry.
need a second. Camp Cryptid says, damn it, my computer's being so slow. What kind of names are we getting in the chat?
We're getting wee guy, boy man, name it Bingus, funny baby, child boy,
Funny baby.
worm, Rolf, little dude, Melanie, Bingus, honestly, Funkus, Joshua.
I like Rolf.
Rolf. In all caps. In all caps, it was typed. Someone said Silverwolf.
No, Silverwolf kind of has to be it, actually.
Okay, Silverwolf. Stop. I say that because I had like an OC named Silverwolf when I was little, and like I represented it with. I would play like with myself like in this like little stuffed animal that I pretended was Silverwolf. Okay, Silverwolf, you're coming with us.
It says, how much have you already planned for the plot of the later seasons? A lot.
All of it. Not all of it, but
so season two, we kind of have beat for beat. Season 3, we have the premise. We know the arc of events. We have the ending of the season in pretty significant detail, and we've thought a lot about how the character arcs will interplay throughout that season. Season 4 is the one that we're the least clear on. We have a general idea of how we want to resolve the story, but
we actually had to halfway through retcon that idea because we realized that our narrative was starting to look a little bit dangerous. And I have an idea now.
We've changed our idea for season 4, and that, I guess, set us back a bit in terms of planning, which is fine. Well, we're vague on the details there.
It was when we were first starting out writing. I remember you said to me, you said we should have all the beats figured out, or at least all the like ideas of where to go figured out before we start writing. And that was what happened. Where for like 3 months, it was just like conception of each season. And so we know exactly where the characters are going to go. We know where they're going to end up arc-wise. And we know very key events that happen in each season that help to wrap up their arcs and that help to symbolize their development and go through like the message of the story and all that kind of stuff. But do we know the order? No.
Yeah, I think it's perfectly valid to write in a way where you don't exactly know what's going to happen next. I mean, some fantastic stories have been told that way. Mm-hmm. But I am not the kind of author who can do that. I don't feel comfortable without like handrails.
It's interesting because I in my previous work have only been did you leave your Pokegear at home? Oh, I gotta go home. I've only been ever writing by like the fly and by the seat of my pants, and so working with you has given me much more structure, and I think it's benefited me.
Camp Bracelet Maker Sarah says, will Mayfield ever truly be Unchained? God, here's hoping.
That's a joke. Because I'm the one talking in the like Discord now mainly, so I'm not really Unchained.
Right. Ace, Camp Redacted, says, I honestly just want to thank you both for creating such a fun story with relatable characters. Definitely has one of the most accurate representations I've ever seen. Thank you.
Thank you.
My question is, how did you come up with these characters? And if they're based on real people from your lives, or if you just made them up?
How do you want to answer this?
We
radio silence.
No, I want to answer. I want to.
Okay.
We put, when we conceived of these of Sydney and Jedediah, we put all of our like historical relationship problems into them. Those characters are a way of like working that out.
They're also like worse than us though.
Yeah, they are.
I don't want
Um,
people to actually take it at face value, so be careful saying that.
well, I'm being careful.
No, I know.
I I really hesitate to call Jedediah a self-insert because he's frankly nothing like me on especially on a superficial level, but also in the way that he handles his life. I think he's um a sort of person I could become if I
Jedediah is your like
stopped
warning.
caring.
Like your red, like your what's like the word for like a warning? Like Jedediah is your Absol coming down from the hills.
Right, of course you go with a Pokemon metaphor.
We're on Pokemon.
Uh However, every other character in the story was not conceived as having been based on any real people, although in like writing their dialogue, I did like draw inspiration personally from how people I know like behave and talk. Um but their arcs, their conflicts, their personalities were not modeled after uh
I'm mainly the one to
real
write
people.
them.
We can go through like each major character and talk about how we conceived of what their personality should be.
Well, if I may, um,
Yes, you may.
I honestly believe that I Mayfield. That was funnier to me than it was to anyone else. I honestly believe that no matter who you are, like, there's like theories for how characters are created, whether you base them off other people or base them off yourself. They're always based off yourself. That's why when collaborative efforts on characters end up being more rich and how do I say dynamic, I guess, because you're only ever, when you make a character, no matter how different that character is from you in general, you are only ever using your own empathy to interpret them and write them. And your own empathy is only ever going to be from your perspective. So no matter how much you can say, like, this character is nothing like me, I don't think like this character, you do when you write them. And so every character that someone makes has themselves in it. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
It's a convoluted way to say that I think like there's every character is a self-insert in some sort of sense.
Sure. In some sort of sense.
In some sort of sense. It's just like you can never know what someone else feels unless through the
But
lens of your own mind.
I don't know what kind of lines you could draw between like me and a character like Rowan or Juniper or something.
Well, that's the thing, is that we're working both together on them. I mean, I sort of took over Rowan.
Yeah.
Who has a lot
I
more
took
of
Juniper,
me in
my handsome son.
Juniper, I love Juniper. I know that some of the characters are vaguely based off of, in just a superficial sense, you know, friends from college. In like the most superficial sense, where if I don't even know if I'd tell them it.
I yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have anything else to say.
Yeah.
Um
Okay. There's your answer.
The camp redacted also says, can counselors leave the camp at all, or are they required to stay there at all times? Yeah, while they're on the job, I mean, while camp is in session, they're required to stay there. If Rowan could just leave, he totally would.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lucille does not let people just go. I mean, you saw that in episode 4, when Soren dipped.
Well, okay. I don't know if it's it's more just like the vibe. Like, because if Sydney didn't interfere, I don't know if Lucille would have either, actually. It's just like
That's
the vibe
true,
is you
yeah.
can't leave.
Lucille likes to project the thought of ruling with an iron fist, but she actually doesn't give a shit about anything.
Yeah, so like I just think it's like there's an unconscious force, and that's it. Also, yeah,
Anyway,
I'm looking at the chat. If you guys want to ask questions and you're not a patron, you're free to join the Discord, and we'll get to your question maybe after we get to all the patrons ones. Unfortunately, we're not monetized right now, so we can't do super chats. If you want to help with that in the future, you can subscribe to us and watch our videos, because YouTube doesn't let you monetize your own content unless you are special.
you need 1,000 subscribers.
You need 1,000 subscribers
and a certain number of
4,000 hours of watch time.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a minute.
Average camper Lise says, what was your writing process like from the idea's inception to the first episode's release? Which parts were written or conceptualized first?
This I know like the back of my hand. So we did talk about a little bit about how Camp Here and There came into conception. I'm the concept guy, where most of the ideas for the story, aside from that big essay from below, came from me, because I used that and then worked with it. And then so like all the characters in their like concepts, like where they are in the story, the dynamic they're meant to play out, the peg hole they go into, that's generally me. And I do that through music. And so the way the process would work was I would come up with those ideas. I'd present them to Belov. He'd talk them out with me to help, finite them, churn them like sweet butter. And then he would take that and draft up a skeleton for an episode, because he's much better at structure. And then I would take that and I would add like the flavor and the character to it, and like just like the weird shit. And then he would take that, and because my writing is super bland, and my jokes aren't actually that funny, so he would take that and then make that super dressed up and better, and add his own charm to it, and make the narrative actually and the writing actually good. Do you have anything to add?
No.
Was I wrong in any of that?
I don't believe so. As for which parts were written or conceptualized first, definitely the first thing that we did was come up with a cast of characters. Not all of them were imbued with personalities immediately, but we had a cast.
Yeah, the first thing was when we had our giant document, and I put counselors in every cabin and named them, and then we had dolls to work with there.
Slowly developed personalities for them. I actually think that we came up with Adam before we came up with the Elephant Man.
No, we came up with both. No, I came up with both concepts at the same time, and I said, which one do you want to do and where do you want to put them?
Right. We were like, both is good.
Yeah, so we separated them into two separate story arcs. Because we had the Elephant Man. Here's the thing: we had the Elephant Man's design, because I wanted his design, and then we were thinking about what do we do with him, and I came to you with two ideas for what he could be, but you loved the second idea so much in general that we made a new character, and that was Adam.
Right. Oh.
Me and my memory.
Shadow. Okay. The Camp Redacted says, who's your favorite character, or which character are you most proud of making? You can go first, Mayfield.
Adam? Honestly, I love Adam so much. I hate to talk about Adam when he's not going to be here for a long time. But God, he's he's my magnum opus of a character. He's so fucking funny. He's so like he's not my poor little meow meow. I can't fix him. He makes me worse. But I love him so much. Like, he's got such a fun arc to work with, and he's got such a fun exploration of like humankind and mental strife, and just in general like a really, really interesting way to break down the main characters. I don't know, there's so much juice to him, and I feel like as far as character concepts have gone, I really hit something there that I'm really proud of. What about you?
My favorite character is Sydney.
Really?
I think he's cute. As for which character I'm most proud of making, I think it's probably Jedediah, because I think that his overall arc is very compelling, and A very interesting exploration of some ideas that have been, you know, rolling around in my head since I was very young.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I don't like him, so.
Okay, well, here's the thing. My favorite character is Jedediah. I don't like Adam, but I'm proudest of Adam.
Right, exactly. My favorite character is Sydney, but I'm proudest of Jedediah.
I'm not that proud of Sydney.
God, I also the like more and more I love the Elephant Man. It's so
He
fun.
grows on people.
People are obsessed with him. It's so weird. You
Oh,
guys?
okay, I saw it coming, but it still blindsides me anyways. Because I knew like this is a really weird, wacky design, and this hits a certain niche that I'm aware of, and so I know it's going to be like a really popular character and a really popular concept. It still blindsides me though.
I just need y'all to understand that he is nobody's little meow meow, and he never could be.
He's
If
really
you tried
evil.
to pet him, he would make you evaporate or something. um, Camp Redacted again says,
Oh, thank you for asking so many questions, Camp Redacted.
yes, seriously. Is Opposite Day truly government mandated? And if so, how was Lucille able to cancel it so quickly?
So
I want to take this one.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yes, it is actually government mandated. Lucille,
Yes.
however, the camp is in a very remote area, and it's not. Oh gosh, is this spoilers? It's not monitored directly by the government, so I guess now you can rule off one option for who's writing the descriptions. But
Where the fuck are the
yeah,
Pokeballs?
Lucille is breaking the law when she hits the cancel button on it, but she can get away with it because
Well,
she set up her camp quite far away from
Here's the
its
thing.
long arm.
Have you ever been to a Midwestern camp? Shit, like, so much shit happens.
Shit just happens.
Shit just
Half the
happens.
stuff that goes down in those places is illegal.
Yeah, there's no way to like monitor a camp in the middle of a forest. Like the problem is like
Murder
the kids.
is routine.
Right. The problem is the kids would need to be babbling, or like the counselors, and like, are they going to? Like, who cares?
No way. No one in this camp's gonna fucking snitch to the government.
When Orla told her mother. They didn't
No,
follow opposite day.
Orla's cool. Okay,
Orla's cool.
Orla's solid.
People are gonna take that the wrong way. We don't have a character for Orla. I'm sorry.
Well,
Well,
there's a camper named Orla, but she's a one-off
I mean,
thing.
we just don't have a character with like Orla.
Sure. Camp Bracelet Maker Sarah says, "What fan reactions and theories have surprised you the most?" The ones that are right.
Really?
Yeah, the ones that get exactly what I was.
No one's
I mean,
exactly
the
got
ones
it yet.
the ones that are like, yeah, this is exactly how the story is going to play out, and they're completely correct. Like, how did you figure that out from the?
I don't think anyone's
7
exactly
episodes?
gotten it yet.
No, but people have gotten dang close, and people have gotten some elements right that
That's true.
have, and that's blown me away. I think.
Yeah, especially when someone will be like, well, they'll say like something that is so very much like 2 inches from the nose, and like, you know, like you only need a few more like logical steps to get there, and then they'll be like, oh, this is just some crackpot theory. It's pulled out of nothing. Like, what? My favorite reaction though that I'm scared of is the Joshua / the Elephant Man.
Oh, that's the next question is about that actually. So I'll just
awesome.
read that off. It says, "Sorry in advance for being a menace to this fandom." says the Camp Redacted.
I can't believe we have a fandom. That's like.
Yeah, the fact that we've got enough of a fandom for there to be menaces within it.
Well, the fact that we've got enough of the fandom for someone to say fandom.
Yeah. Fucked up if true.
Okay, go ahead.
What are your thoughts on Elishua? Is that something that y'all predicted that fans would do? No. No. Y'all are wow. Y'all are gonna get to meet Joshua in like 2 weeks, and I'm really curious as to how the ship is going to hold up under the.
Can't wait. I actually think if you were to, okay, from a superficial standpoint, Joshua's content and the Elephant Man's content, think about like his whole motifs and then Joshua's whole motifs. It is kind of funny. Like it does kind of work.
No, it's hilarious, and I do feel like they could
As far as like
get
animalism
along.
goes, like think about like their animalism stuff, like that. It does work.
That's true. Um, I think that they could get along. I think that if they met, they would be friends. Um, honestly. However,
Do you think they would be friends? Do you think the Elephant Man wouldn't try to overpower Joshua in some way? Do you think he can have normal friends?
I think Joshua's the one guy that he could be normal friends with because the Elephant Man like tries to do his like manipulative psychic nonsense on Joshua, and it just goes right through him because Joshua has a rock inside of his skull instead of a brain.
Someone in the chat just said kiss Maces. I'm gonna ignore it.
No, Adam and Elijah would be Kismaces.
That'd be so funny.
Joshua, I think is
I don't
too
wanna use that
stupid
word.
for the Elephant Man to do anything with, and so the Elephant Man would just give up and accept him into his heart.
Friends, perhaps more.
No. Elijah would never with Joshua. Never. Never with
Help.
Joshua. No.
Help.
Joshua would be down, but
Joshua's down to clown with anyone.
I think so. I think he's that kind of guy. But the
he's bi,
Elephant
no one
Man is
wants him.
much pickier.
Yeah, no, the Elephant Man only wants one person.
All right. Taylor says, "Is the world outside of camp just as strange as what we hear about in the camp?" Yes.
Yes. I want people to draw this conclusion. I see this question a lot. Sydney mentions things that are outside camp. And I think that's like you can draw the conclusion that when he's mentioning the world at large, he means the world at large.
Yeah, it's not like Night Vale where it's like an isolated patch of world that is bizarre. It's definitely is connected to the outside world, and the entire outside world it's all fucked up.
Yeah, it's all fucked up. Nowhere is safe.
All fucked up. Vex says, "Will we get to hear more of our penguin overlords that rule over the camp with an iron flipper?"
Aww.
Yes, but not in season 1.
Will we? I don't know if there's gonna be anything more that's like story relevant with them.
I mean, I don't intend to use they're not going to be relevant to the plot, but they will. I think that we should not like just leave them to rot. They're valuable for to mine for humor and enjoyment.
Well, their whole thing. So, oh gosh, you're gonna see behind the scenes. They're a plot set up for 2 characters to.
Yeah, I mean their deal impacts the actual characters who are the counselors.
Mm-hmm. Well, they, people already know Rowan and Juniper got chosen to take the fish. They're meant to like start, jumpstart Rowan and Juniper's relationship. That's it, because those 2 have like a writing thing to go down in. So I don't know, because they were a plot device. Average camp release. Which fan reactions were you anticipating that did happen? Which were you anticipating that didn't happen? And which surprised you? Did happen. I totally expected the reaction to the Elephant Man. Not any less mortified. Not any less scared. But I expected it. Didn't happen. Oh, I also expected the infantilization of Sydney. I'm much like more concerned about that one in general. Because I really wanted to avoid that. But c'est la vie. Maybe it's my own writing problem. But I did not expect how much people love Joshua. I don't know what else I didn't expect. What about you?
I totally expected people to like Joshua. I
Not at
was
this stage, at least.
anticipating like at least for the majority of the first season for Jedediah to be like universally reviled by the fandom. And so the fact that I see a lot of people taking his side over Sydney, not that I'm going to give an opinion. I mean, I think sometimes he's right in what he says and does, and sometimes he's terribly wrong. But the fact that anyone's taking his side is kind of surprising to me.
Don't
In a pleasant way.
Don't underestimate people's ability to woobify white men.
Sorry?
Don't underestimate people's ability to woobify white men.
Yeah, y'all don't need to do that, guys. Jedediah woobifies himself.
It's like even just comparing Jedediah to Salem. Like I remember I saw people saying like, "Oh, Salem's so mean," and it's like she's just right. Like she's very justified to.
Well, that's what happens. That's what happens when you have a sympathetic point of view character. Like it's really difficult to see a character that you care about getting like hurt or shat on and not want to come to their defense, which is justified.
I guess I guess the nattier then is why. How come when Jedediah hurts Sydney, it's seen as a lot more understanding? When Jedediah isn't necessarily sympathetic either, he's also portrayed as an antagonist. Sydney just also loves him, but Sydney is like miserable.
Maybe because Jedediah is a more major character, people feel motivated to put thought into the nuances of his characterization.
That might be it. It's an interesting thought.
So far, and I think that when Salem's character gets explored a little more in the story, I'm sure that all of you lovely, brilliant people will come around to her. It's 15, just that y'all. In episode 4, she just kind of came in like and did nothing except antagonize Sydney.
So that makes sense. Well, okay, I also think that someone's opinion on Jedediah and Sydney, the most interesting thing to me about it has been that like it sort of says about the person itself what they think, because you have people who sympathize with Jedediah because they see themselves in Jedediah, and you have people who sympathize with Sydney because they see themselves in Sydney, and I think that's incredibly interesting.
Oh, well, it makes sense. I have another question from Camp Waterphone player Emily.
Very lost. Hi, Emily.
Hi, Emily. Does Camp Here and There have a rival camp? Not yet.
Season 2, y'all.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Moonshine the Fox says, "What is the hiring process like for a counselor?"
You pay Lucille.
No, well, okay. If you really want to work at Camp Here and There, Lucille is susceptible to bribes, and if you pay her, she will let you do whatever you want on campgrounds.
That's true.
As for the actual hiring process, you just kind of end up there one day, and you don't really know why or how you applied and got the job, but you know you're doing it.
Thinking about it too hard makes your head hurt.
Yeah.
I feel like
thinking about it too hard might kill you.
Indeed. I feel like how to say this? A character like Salem, I think she does care to be there. But she's like she disrespects her own job, as in she hates it, but she does like care about like doing it well. And so it makes me want to think that maybe she does actively come back, but I'm not really sure. A character like Rowan definitely like doesn't want to come back and just does.
This gets explored a little bit actually later on in the season. So
okay. Where did I click?
Yeah, I mean, hold off till then. All right. Aside from podcasts, which movies, shows, what?
I clicked something and it changed the emulator, and it I don't know. I don't know what I did.
It's horizontal now. I'm just gonna have to live with it. aside from podcasts, which movies, shows, books, etc. have inspired your writing? Oh God, we have to out ourselves.
Yeah. I really want to fix this. It's bothering me. I don't know how to fix it.
No, right click, right click.
Right click?
Yeah, right click, and it should bring up like options. Not doing anything?
I clicked an arrow. Like I clicked A, B, and like an arrow.
Okay, let me Google this. If y'all know how to do
it's
this,
Desume. This
in
is
the chat.
so unprofessional. Sorry.
How to make emulator vertical
Desume.
again?
Desume.
Desume?
Yeah, DESME.
UME.
Yeah.
How do you rotate the screen? Under the view menu, you'll find rotation.
It's not rotate. It just like moved.
How do I change screen layout?
Oh, here we go.
Shit.
Vertical.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Fantastic.
Sorry. Back to the question.
Aside from podcasts, which movies, shows, books, etc. have inspired your writing?
Right.
Okay. I mean, obviously, we started working on this because we were inspired by, the Magnus Archives, the amount of love that people had for that story, and the amount of potential in its format.
And Night Vale.
Well, Night Vale's a little different. I think Camp Here and There has a different relationship to Night Vale. Camp Here and There is obviously in terms of its premise, it spiritually succeeds Night Vale in many ways. But I also, I listened to Night Vale, back when I was like 12 or 13, and it really shaped my writing style. And I think that Camp Here and There is much more of an earnest send-up to Night Vale and what it did for podcasting as a genre of fiction, whereas I think our relationship with the Magnus Archives is a little bit more antagonistic.
Yeah, I saw someone saying at one point that they love that there's like a tape recorder bit where Sydney pretends his recorder is haunted because it feels like a jab at the Magnus Archives. I'm gonna go on record and say it's not. I'm just psychotic, but it's kind of funny in like thought.
So yeah, Camp Here and There considers the Magnus Archives its rival, but it considers Welcome to Night Vale its
father,
mentor.
Yeah.
Father? I don't know.
Okay, so the way I see Night Vale is like I have a really hard time disparaging Night Vale because it's like respect your elders. That's how I feel about Night Vale.
Literally, like it pioneered like gay podcast fiction. We would be nowhere without it.
Yeah. So like, respect the elders. That's how I feel about Night Vale. What was the question?
Except we literally didn't answer the question because it literally said aside from podcasts, which movies, shows, and books have inspired your writing.
Okay.
So
I grew up with Avatar, The Last Airbender, just in general. Hunter x Hunter, definitely.
How do you think what you learned from Avatar like played into how you write Camp Here and There?
I'm changing my answer. What the piece of media that taught me the most about writing was actually Hunter x Hunter, because at that point when I was 16, I had been writing for a long time and I had inspirations. Like I was super into Death Note and I was super into like a lot of like morality exploring stuff, and I was into a lot of garbage like Soul Eater. But when I got into Hunter x Hunter, it gave me a story to really think about. And I remember watching like the later aspect of it and like gasping because of how it explored things. And what it got me thinking about was how the dynamics in this entire like web of how do you say, characters and concepts explored like really, really bare bones primal things like power and like humanity versus nature, and like what is that, and is human nature itself, that kind of thing. Like it was so interesting, and it never really gave answers to these like unanswerable questions. And what I took from that was that I wanted to do things like that. I wanted to create conceptual metaphors and down to earth like concepts and ideas to help explore some really, really heavy things. So Hunter x Hunter just gave me like Hunter x Hunter's writing in its complexity and its grace in doing so, for all its flaws, because it does have flaws, gave me like a stepping stone to like really think about my own writing in a much more serious way. What about you?
My writing style, especially the kind of writing that I employ specifically for Camp Here and There, is very heavily inspired by Lemony Snicket, A Series of Unfortunate Events, and Douglas Adams, most known for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And I think that my interest in unreliable narrators, sardonic conversational narrators, and and surreal humor stems from that.
Do you know where to go next, by the way, when you're on Route 30?
Sorry, what?
When you're on Route 30, do you know where to go next?
Oh, you go back to Oak's Lab and confront Silver.
Oh, I must have missed that dialogue. Sorry, everyone. I've been walking around for like 20 minutes straight.
It's fine. I did the same thing on the last stream.
This is a lot harder than it looks.
Yes, Emerald. Okay, I will. Okay.
What happened?
Emerald says, "What are your thoughts on the Kinlist Fund reaching over 50% completion? Edit.
Okay,
now
wait.
It's 75%. Let's go, besties.
Say
Edit
what the
two, now
Kinlist
80.
Fund is.
Okay. So on our last stream, we made the terrible mistake of saying
You made it. I didn't say that.
On the last stream, I made the terrible mistake of saying publicly that we have kin lists for our characters and that we would make them public if you gave us $100.
It was a bluff. We didn't think you'd take it seriously.
Not excited.
Not excited.
I'm scared.
And okay, I mean, like, they're for fun, and they're just because, like, literally every character you can compare to another character. So we had like these ideas of like, if our characters were in the real world, what characters would they relate to? So we have like that.
As long as just don't take it as like us suggesting that our characters are based off of these other characters, or send ups, or improvements on the concepts of these other characters, because that is not the case.
We were talking about this. I do want to say this just because I think it's really, really funny. In the beginning, we were very, very worried about Sydney and Jedediah being compared to Cecil and Carlos. I think they're very different, but like if you look at like the bare bones basic archetypes, they are similar in that respect.
Cecil and Carlos were toxic.
Cecil and Carlos, but toxic. Cecil and Carlos, but they need to work it out. I remember when we were saying, what if people compare them? We were like, well, okay, well, our characters just kin Cecil and Carlos. Now you can't say anything.
Yeah. There's also the fact that like we want to be careful about like what like associating ourselves with another work of fiction, because I don't want to in any way have my livelihood associated with a creator that I don't know, or like know what their intentions are with their work, know what they might do as a person. Like it seems risky.
Mm-hmm. And I don't want to like openly endorse some of the media on there.
Sure, yeah.
Like I don't want you guys to think that because we have a character on there that we actually are saying that this media is something that like we approve of, which it's like it's a rocky slope, because it's like I think it's important to consume media under critical lens and then like use it to sort of like to internalize your own. That's what we were doing, is internalizing our own media by consuming others and critiquing it to like think about it. But that's not how everyone works, and I'm just really afraid of the idea that like people see like a character from say Homestuck and say, oh my god, they like Homestuck. Like no.
Say Homestuck just as a hypothetical.
Like as a hypothetical.
Completely theoretical example.
Like I have a lot to say about why culturally Homestuck did so much, but I don't want to endorse it. I don't want to give it to impressionable kids. Does that make sense?
You know, we have made an effort to ensure that our audience does not consist of impressionable kids.
That's true.
Anyway,
that's my fear. The whole thing is fearful. I have to go to this guy's house.
Y'all gotta swear to God you're gonna be normal about it. Y'all gotta
That's
swear.
That's just not gonna happen. No one's gonna be normal. Okay, someone's. I don't even want to have this conversation now. They're guessing from Homestuck who Sid would kin. I don't want.
Don't indulge it.
Don't indulge it. I'm walking away.
Yeah. Y'all have fun with that, though.
It's not us. It's not us. You'll get my essay on why Homestuck is a lot later.
Moonshine the Fox.
You're muffled.
Have set personalities. Or
Sorry, repeat that. You were muffled.
Moonshine the Fox asks if any of the campers have set personalities or if they're all just one-offs.
There are about 2 campers, 3 maybe.
Yeah, that have personalities and play a role in the plot. Yeah, 2 or 3.
Okay, I have to go to... Hey, where's Cherry Grove? This is Mountain Road. You can't go that way. I'm supposed to go to Cherry Grove and find this guy's house. I probably did find it and then, like, didn't do anything with it. I'm not looking at chat. I'm being told not to look at chat, and I'm not looking now.
Oh, thank you for protecting Mayfield's poor little eyes.
What's the next question?
Well, we've run out of patron questions, so now we're gonna start taking questions from the rest of the audience. So I will scroll up back to the top.
This is Cherry Grove. So the house must be up here, and I just must have like missed what I was supposed to do there. Once we finish questions in the Discord as well, we can turn to chat. I really wish there were super chats, but alas.
What do Sydney, Jedediah, and the other counselors do when they are not in camp? Oh, wait. No. Out with? I don't understand this question. It says, what do Sydney, Jedediah, and the other counselors do out with camp? Like jobs, duties, etc.
Yeah, so basically they're asking what happens off the summer.
Okay, well, we have an answer for that for like every character because we thought it would be good to like flesh them out on that level. Sydney stays at the campsite all year round. So does Lucille.
Mm-hmm.
Jedediah.
This is revealed in story later on, but we can say it.
Jedediah just up and leaves and just kind of travels the world, doing mysterious Jedediah things. Rowan works at a library, I believe.
I don't hear beeping chat. It might just be the game, like the ding ding. Rowan works at a library, or at least he did before.
I think a library that got shut down.
Yeah, I think Rowan's not in a library anymore. Juniper goes back to his hometown. Did you say that?
Yeah, Juniper goes back to his hometown of Legsworth.
The small fishing village of Legsworth.
To help his father's fishing business.
Mm-hmm.
He tells when Juniper like leaves for the summer to like go work at camp, he tells his dad that he's like an international like a diplomatic litigator doing like legal counsel for
Cover
like
this with me. I mean, this is
we're
good.
doing like legal counsel for diplomats from like around the world. That's what
Uh-huh.
he tells his dad.
Okay, well that's canon now. I agree that that's a very in character thing. However, you just made that up on the spot.
Yeah. Um. Salem. What does Salem do?
Oh, here's the house. I think this might be the house that I need. Salem is a child counselor. Not sorry, like a substitute teacher.
Was that what I wrote? Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
that is
right.
what
She's
you
a
wrote.
substitute teacher, and she'd like to get a proper teaching job someday.
Marisol is a freelancer artist.
Yeah.
I got a mystery egg. Beloved got a mystery egg. You don't even care about my egg? Hmm?
I'm so fucking happy about you and your egg. I'm trying to. I don't think we came up with this for Yvonne and Joshua. They're both like college dropouts, but I don't know what exactly
They are both college dropouts.
they're doing with themselves.
Our
when
whole
they're not
cast is college dropouts.
Yeah.
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 Coping.
Yvonne like doesn't have like life motivation right now. She's just kind of trying to have fun. I mean, she is a
Yeah,
Twitch streamer.
I think Yvonne Twitch. No, she's a YouTube. She's a YouTube Let's Player. Get that
You're
right.
right,
She's
she's
a
a YouTube Let's
YouTube
Player.
queen.
So
She's
sorry.
not a Twitch streamer.
It is very important. She's not a Twitch streamer. She's a YouTube queen, and she I don't think I don't think she's rich off that, but it's probably all she's passionate enough about to do for money.
Yeah, and I think she like couch surfs. Maybe goes back home now and then.
Right.
And just she parties a lot. Like Yvonne's all about the plur lifestyle.
Peace, love, unity, respect. The Raver's Code.
She is. That's what they like. Joshua. God, trying to think of a career for Joshua is incredibly difficult and funny. Joshua works at a convenience store.
Being real, Joshua was meant to be a camp counselor. It's all he's good for.
So hard. I think Joshua has just like service worker jobs. And it's not wrong, but he doesn't have like any like direction either. I think he has fun. Like he doesn't need a big like career to have like to enjoy himself.
I
Joshua's a
honestly
very
think
simple
Joshua's
guy.
greatest life motivation is probably to settle down and like start a family.
Yeah.
And like I think he would really like to be a father.
I also agree with this. I think this was something that you actually wrote. Joshua doesn't like feel like he's like capable of because he has some, well, he's a nice guy. He's decent. He just has problems with like interacting in ways that aren't
like,
a little. He's a
like
little bit
immature.
insecure. Yeah, he's just immature. And that's it. He's just a little bit immature. And I think he just really wants like a nice, like Joshua and Rowan both want like quiet lives. Sydney too, I think.
God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Juniper
wants to be a businessman.
Yeah, Juniper would love to be a blue collar, like
no,
middle
white
manager.
collar. Juniper wants to be like a
Not
business.
the collars mixed up. Yeah, no, I meant white collar.
Yeah.
Tropia says
capitalism. Capitalism is fuck. That's what Camp Here and There says. Don't worry about it.
so true. Tropia says, me give Joshua a smooch. All I have to say is be careful. He is smelly.
Is he? I think he smells like Axe. Well, I guess that is smelly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You don't have a problem with that.
He smells like Old Spice Wolf deodorant.
Yeah, he smells like grapefruit wolf deodorant, but it's like slathered over every inch of his body. He's a tryhard, and he smells like one.
No wonder Yvonne
Also-
is suffocating.
Yeah, poor girl. What are some fun details about the Gravediggers, and what were some inspirations for the story in general?
Your audio is messing up a little bit. But I heard that. The Gravediggers is my idea of how to implement something of a metric for the magic in the world. And also, I wanted to explore the idea of a mother figure. Because, I mean, it already is done, kind of, in the story, but I wanted to explore. I wanted to juxtaposition the real mother figure with a conceptual mother figure who's just like that.
What were some inspirations for the story in general? I think we've pretty well covered this, but I will say that we I have always only like ever written apocalypse stories, um because well, there's so much about that is fun to explore.
I mean, like, the Bible itself is an apocalypse story. Like, apocalypse stories are historically used for, like, very interesting explorations.
Yeah, and it's honestly it's the only kind of story I'm interested in telling. But I don't want to do like the typical like 2012 thing all the time where it's just some people reckoning with everything being destroyed. And we were thinking, and we were talking about that, and Mayfield mentioned that he's not, or at the time he said he's not generally that fond of apocalypse stories because he is only interested in like basic, like intimate human motivations. And so when the stakes are like on a global level and the things that people are fighting for are big and grand and ideological, it's less interesting than when it's about like people's personal relationships with themselves and each other.
Which you can
And
do in apocalypse stories, it's just not done very
right.
often.
And so we wanted to tell an apocalypse story where the apocalypse was just a just another thing to factor into the exploration of people's relationships with themselves and each other.
And it turned into, I mean, it turns into like a giant, a much larger commentary on people's, sort of like the boiling frog thing about how people, like, Camp Here and There isn't saying that the world is going to end with a boom. Camp Here and There is saying that the world is ending, and everyone's just sitting around and developing neurosis. And I think that's like a really interesting direction that like took because, I don't know. It's like really fun, and I also feel like it's really important to say. It's not fun in that it's like a real thing, but it's. I'm very passionate about the idea of like, because like the sympathy towards the counselors here, where they don't know what to do. I think it's a really real thing. And I remember, this is something I want to mention while on this topic. I remember when we were first, like over the summer, we were first talking about the story itself. You had said that Camp Here and There was interesting as an apocalypse story because it's not about the world ending and people trying to stop it or trying to cope with it. It's about the world needing to end and no one knows how to make that happen.
I don't think people are gonna really understand that until later on. But
yeah, but
we've got some more patron questions in, so I'll read those off. From Thembo.
Hey, before you start this, I
Oh.
have some awful news.
What?
The kin list has been funded.
I wonder, should we instead of making like a post about it, should we just say it?
You want to say it on the stream? People can go back and find it, but yeah. What about you, chat? Do you want us to drop the kin list right here, right now?
Christ.
Oh yeah, someone else in chat says Camp Here and There takes place in the life and the world to come world. Yes, it does. Well, actually, I can't cross will that way, but
no, we can't say that like for will, but
it's so similar actually.
Appreciate
the comparison. It's hilariously similar. Because it's like one way to write is just to go batshit on a wall. Okay, let's funded.
Here's a little cute question to answer real quick.
Okay. While we get ready for this.
What would Sydney and Jenny dress up as for Halloween?
Oh, Morticia and Gomez.
There you have it.
No, the generic plug and socket.
I really wish you hadn't said that.
I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna throw up.
What I'm imagining is Sydney in like a big rubber hamburger and Jedediah as a box of fries.
Sydney is a toothbrush and Jedediah is toothpaste.
Wow, these suck, but I think it's what they would do. I think it's.
Well, the real question is, I mean, would Sydney actually make Jedediah dress up like this and also humiliate himself? Because if Sydney were to make Jedediah wear a hamburger costume, he'd be doing it fully out of
sadism.
malice. Yeah.
Right. God, what would Sydney and Jedediah dress up as for Halloween? Actually, why don't y'all wait till season 3 to find out?
No, that's not. What? What are you saying? Oh. Oh, I just got it. Oh. Yeah, wait till season 3.
Generic Camper McNormal says, "Hey, out of curiosity, how do you feel about the kin list being over fully funded?" Thank you for the money. I feel like it's a bad idea. I feel like it's a really bad idea.
It was your idea. I'm taking the fall for you. You're full of bad ideas.
Oh, Thembo? Okay, no, wait. Thembo says, "I'm writing down the answers to my Halloween question. I will be drawing them as every answer you listed." Okay, wait. Now I have to get art out of you.
You're so fucking evil.
You know what? You know who they would go as?
What?
Flint Lockwood and the reporter from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
What about Flint Lockwood and his girlfriend?
His girlfriend is the reporter.
Oh, you couldn't use her name? What do you hate women?
I forgot the name. I'm sorry. I'm misogynist.
It's Sam.
Okay, yeah, Flint and Sam.
In defense, I didn't use her name either. I did call her his girlfriend.
Yeah, there we go. Moonshine the Fox says, "What is the youngest and oldest the kids get?" We imagined a range of about 11 to 17.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's most camps. Okay, I don't know what to do. What do you do after you fight Silver?
Kiss him.
Where do you go?
Directly to Team Rocket headquarters.
Okay. Is that on Route 30?
You got the running shoes yet?
I'm sprinting. This is sprinting.
Yeah, no, you've gotten them. Isn't there a house that you go to with Professor Oak there?
I just did that, and then I fought Silver after. You got it in out of order.
I think you go on to the next town.
Well, it's like blocked. I guess I'll keep trying.
Okay.
Like, maybe those like trainers aren't there anymore. Okay, anyways, what was the question?
Oh, the next question is, do you have any advice for people starting writing a podcast? How did you actually go about producing Camp Here and There?
I do have advice. The biggest thing I think is you need to really take advantage of the audio medium. When it comes to a story for a podcast, I mean this with love, but whenever I see slice of life podcasts, I can't get into it because it's just like there's nothing like to sink your teeth into. When there's because there's an audio medium, you can't get into the life when the life itself is like you're trying to vision what a room. I think you need a lot of fantastical elements in order to make a podcast really hit. And if you look at the most successful podcasts, fiction-wise, they are fantastical because the concepts need to be fun for people to imagine. That's what I'm trying to get at, is that you need to be able to think about it in your head and get excited. And therefore, you need to be able to have like these really like colorful ideas and concepts. Does that make any sense?
Yes, it does.
Someone said that we're diversity lost because we disrespected Sam.
Is the Mothman canon? The people need to know. Yes, and it's Jedediah. Next.
Aw.
Um,
Yeah, Jedediah usurped my throne as Mothman.
Sydney's the Moth Boy.
He's not. It's Jedediah. That's his feelers now.
Ace, the Camp Redacted, says, have the Loveland Frogmen ever been seen at Camp Here and There? Yes, Joshua.
Yes, Joshua. Okay, wait. We never really got... Okay, I think we have to drop the kin list.
Don't you dare put this shit in the wiki.
Don't you dare put this shit in the wiki. Oops.
Okay.
Don't you dare put this shit in the wiki. Don't you dare.
Sydney and Jedediah can match as Cecil and Carlos from Welcome to Night Vale.
John and Martin.
Aradia and Solix from Homestuck.
Oh my god. I can't believe you said that.
You were the one who wanted me to. To be clear, Jedediah is Solix and Sydney is Aradia. And
why did the emulator freeze?
Jedediah and Sydney, also Rutile and Pad Paradsha from Husky no Kuni.
Wait, hold on. Wait, before we do this, the emulator froze because we're
because
we're doing cursed things. Okay, hold on. I can pull it back up. I have to just close and reopen it. Sorry, guys. This is what you get for the kin list.
Jeez.
The emulator fucking froze.
Jesus.
Because we're putting such bad energies out into the universe.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay. Cool, we're back.
There are some that I feel like I can't say because they're spoilers.
Rutile and Papadacha is a good one. Yeah, do we say the one that starts with a V?
Oh, whatever. People...
Oh, whatever, yeah. Well, I love that mental journey.
Camp Bracelet Maker Sarah says, is this stream going to stay up on YouTube afterwards? Unfortunately, yes. I'm just okay.
Don't put it in the wiki, guys. Come on. At least respect our wishes here, because I see people saying put it in the wiki.
They're referring to the D&D stuff on the wiki. Jedediah would read Frankenstein and kin Victor Frankenstein.
Yeah. John and Martin.
Right. Except I don't even think that one fits very well.
It doesn't.
I do think that Sydney would be the eye and Jedediah would be, well, lonely touched.
Is Sydney the eye? I don't know.
Actually, no. Well, Sydney's I touched web.
Sydney's what?
I touched web. Also, corruption touched. This guy can't get a break.
Yeah. Jedediah is. Well, I've said this before. Jedediah would be an avatar of the extinction.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any more that we're missing?
It's only for the Elephant Man.
Oh, I don't even know. Hold on, let me look at it. I didn't know you wrote that down.
It's a gross one.
The other, do you want to say
it? Shu from Tokyo Ghoul.
Shu from Tokyo Ghoul.
I feel dirty. I need a shower. I hope you are fucking satisfied, you people. Piranhas.
I'm trying to think if there's any other characters.
I mean, there's
Rutile and Papadacha is such a good one though. Like those are such good picks.
Yeah. Those are the main IDs.
Everyone who is interpreting Sydney, Padpadacha is it.
I want to move on from the Kinless thing. I named everyone that I wrote down.
Yeah, because we wrote this a while ago. Okay, everyone. I love you. I hope you all are happy. You piranhas.
I can't imagine that was that satisfying.
It wasn't
but
at all. It was went out with a
can't
fizzle.
imagine that
And
it
I
was
can't
worth
even
that money.
figure out how to get to the next town. We're failures.
Are you still streaming?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't see you no more.
Oh, my bad.
Wait.
Let me here. I'll put it back because the emulator froze.
Yeah. Hook me in. Hook me into the mainframe. Okay.
Like I want to catch Pokemon and we can't get to the next town.
Discord user J___ says, is necromancy actually impossible or is it just really difficult? It's impossible.
It's
Sorry.
impossible. You can't do it. Any
can't
attempts
do
at it are
necromancy.
illegal, and anything close resembling to it is illegal because it's all fucked up. But it's impossible. Can't do it.
You can't do necromancy. You can do things that will resemble necromancy. You can make a corpse dance. You can possibly like stuff someone's sentience into a new vessel, but both of those would be half-lives.
You can't bring anyone back to life. You just can't do it.
Yeah, you just can't do
doesn't work.
necromancy.
It doesn't exist.
It's just no type of magic that will allow you to do it. Sorry.
Sorry.
Egg says, what do the oracle fumes taste like?
Jolly Ranchers.
I
The
feel like they just
powder
taste
of
like
Fun
smoke.
Dip.
Be real. I just feel like it's smoke, but like
just
tasty
smoke.
smoke, like nice, like wood smoke, like
Oh, I love
a
wood smoke.
candle.
Cam Cryptid wants to know what Sydney and Jedediah's Pokemon teams would be.
I've
This
dropped
is
this.
information that you have shared.
Yeah.
But...
I'll go over it again. Hold on. This is actually in the message up above. Sydney has Umbreon, Trevenant, Morlul, Absol, Parasect, and Mismagius, and Jedediah has Espeon, Alakazam, Klinklang, Bisharp, Porygon, and Celebi.
God, Celebi. Oh.
I also could make a really good argument for Sydney having a Mimikyu. Maybe switch out Morlul for that or something. But yeah.
Pandering though. Mimikyu's like so popular.
That's not pandering. I just love Mimikyu.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm normal.
Yeah, you fucking normie.
I love ghost types. Where the fuck? I need cut. Where do you get cut? Like, there's nowhere to go. I don't
Ace
remember
Camper
this game being this hard. Okay, fine, whatever.
We're
No
not
one care me.
Sorry. We're not supposed to look at it too long, but is the forbidden object in the center of the lake, presumably, is it edible?
You don't know. It's not forbidden, it's unknowable. You don't know.
I mean, you can try, or maybe you
can't try. You don't know.
Well, I don't think you can know for certain that you can't try. I think maybe you can and maybe you can't try.
Okay. Yeah. Every question about the unknowable object, you don't know. That's the answer. Can I eat it?
Maybe.
You don't know.
Maybe. I feel like we can't even... I feel like
you
we
can't even say
call
maybe.
it
You don't know if it's maybe.
I don't know if it's maybe, though. I mean, maybe it's maybe. I don't know.
You're like, what if I'm special?
No, I'm just saying it's that vague.
Okay, makes sense.
It's like grappling with a bar of soap.
Someone says they want to draw Sydney and Jedediah as Pokemon trainers. If you do that, I'll cry. Like literally. If you draw Sydney with an Umbreon, here's my selfish call to action. If you draw Sydney with an Umbreon and Jedediah with an Espeon, I will burst into tears.
Pam Cryptid says, could Sydney eat it? We don't know that it isn't buttered bread. Sydney's not stupid enough to try.
You don't know. Cindy can't know if he can eat it. He can't know. You can't look at this thing and know anything about it. You don't even know if you're looking at it, really.
Tibby says,
which direction?
Oh, sorry.
I'm really lost. This is Cherry Grove. Where do I go from there?
Google it for you.
We have to look at a walkthrough. You don't know it either?
No.
Okay. I'm hurting my little cripple hands on these keyboard.
Route 31?
Route 31. Okay, so this is route... That's 30. And I can't get to another route from it. Maybe there's another route that was blocked.
You have to go back to Professor.
Okay, this is 29. So I'll go back to Professor. Alright, next question.
Did you use anadiplosis in the episode titles for a specific reason, or is it just because it's neat?
I've never heard that word.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was what it was called.
It's a fun word. Something cyclical nature of human behavior.
No, you did it because you thought it was cool.
Shut up. How do we feel about Waffle bringing mathematics into your good and innocent podcast server?
Call him mathematics.
I'm Sammy. I stay automatic. Money add then multiply. I call it
mathematics. It lives in my head forever.
Send me my man.
It's fine. There can be math. I just can't do it.
I'm hostile towards math, but I'm friendly towards my fans, and so it all cancels out. And I have absolutely no feelings on the math.
It's like Pokemon types. You're like a dual type. Hatred and love.
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Okay.
Chat can also start asking questions now. I'll monitor it, and I'll start asking questions if I see you guys typing one.
Sure.
So, type away.
Tibby says, how did you get Will Wood to write the soundtrack, and what was it like to work with him?
Yeah, so, I personally...
It was extremely nice.
It was very nice. It was one of the more pleasant experiences of my life, I think. But, we were looking at... Okay, so basically, we knew that we were very serious about this project, and that if we wanted it to get off the ground, we had to have something extravagant behind it. And then we wanted that to be music, because the audio medium, you want it to be music. So while developing the story, I was listening to Will Wood, and most of Will Wood's discography got put in the story somehow. And so his vibe just ended up fitting the story itself, which makes sense. I mean, look at Life in the World to Come. All of the things that he's on about is very much what Camp Here and There embodies too. We were... Actually, it was really kind of funny because we were thinking about how it would be like a dream to have Will Wood on it. We were thinking about that for months. But it's like, it felt unattainable for a while because, you know, what, you're gonna have fucking Will Wood, like, Will Wood. And I think we found an interview once that is defunct now, but where he said he hated apocalypse stories. Do you remember that?
Oh. I do remember that, King.
We were like, okay, yeah, we can't have Will Wood here. And I also think we thought one of his, his third eye, makeup was Cecil, and it wasn't, because he never heard of Night Vale.
God, what a legend.
Anyways, so we were just, toying with what to do, and I joined his Patreon server because we saw that, you pay a certain amount, you can, talk to him. Which we were like, is it bad just to pay this much money and get rejected? Because it was we're probably gonna get rejected. So I didn't do that, but I did join anyways because, you know, I'm a very big fan of his music. And after that, he was like in there. Like the day I came in, he was chilling and talking with people. He doesn't do this anymore, so I don't think this is a way you can do it anymore. But he was chilling, and I asked a few questions.
No one else is fucking allowed to get Willwood to do the soundtrack.
No, you can
to
do
the
it. I just don't think you're gonna do it to the Patreon server. I'm just saying I don't want people to join it thinking they can.
That's our idea.
He's being sarcastic, but what? Did you say something?
Me? No.
Oh, okay. Well, what I was saying was, I did join. Oh, hey, what are we naming Silver?
Cheese.
Cheese?
That's what I named him the first time I ever played this game.
Cheese?
Yeah. Gee,
Okay.
I was 8.
Okay, I guess. I don't remember what I named him. Cheese with a Z.
Very happy. Okay, yeah, we can do that.
So, I asked. I'm sorry, I'm rambling so much. I asked Will.
What people are here for.
What's that?
That's what people are here for.
That's true. You guys, you will hear me talk forever. So I asked Will a few questions. I was first satiating my like, oh my god, I'm talking to the person who created all my favorite art. But then I was like, are you open to like commissions on projects? And he's like, you know, I'll do anything for money. And I'm like, hey, bet, you know, you want a DM? And I just shoot my shot. And I pitched Camp Here to him because we had a pitch. Like we had written like a huge pitch for it because that's what you do when you have a story. You never know who you're gonna run into on an elevator. And then he was like, okay, I'm interested. I'll read the pilot. And so we gave him the pilot, and he came back flabbergasted, and it was like the best news of our lives because we were expecting him to hate it. Or at least be like,
he was so kind about the work that we'd done. It was great.
And so that's where he offered to take on the big challenge, because he was saying that, you know, he was willing to do something like small, but that he wanted to help this project. And so yeah, we had the funding, and that was how I ended up in his Discord server, and I just shoot my shot.
Tropia says, who runs the government? And my answer is, people who do not deserve to.
So true, always.
Camp Ghost Hunter Tommy says, would you consider the Elephant Man to be the villain of the story, or is he just some sort of anti-hero? Who or what is the true antagonist of the story? Now, this is an interesting question because it is just kind of asking us to spoil
if he's the big bad or not.
The true villain is capitalism.
There is a big bad. I'm not gonna say who it is.
There is, there's an ultimate like antagonist to Sydney.
An antagonist to the story.
Not just capitalism.
Now, is the Elephant Man an antagonist? Yes, he's an antagonist.
He is antagonizing Sydney.
Yeah, he's an antagonist.
Camp Corvid enthusiast Corby says, what inspired you to have Camp Here and There take place in Ohio? Ohio chose us.
Yeah, okay. Ohio chose us.
Ohio
by the way,
came to us and said, hey, wouldn't it be cool?
Wouldn't it be cool? I'm looking at chat. Yeehaw, it's Jasmine asks, what would Sydney's Pokemon trainer outfit look like, just for reference?
Like a Hex Maniac.
Like a Hex Maniac, yeah, actually. So like a Hex Maniac, but like put your own spin on it.
Funny Guy says, ooh, with a Ida from Owl House icon, I think.
Nice.
That's cute. We like the Owl House.
I do like
From
that.
my dear friend, assuming all counselors and staff live at the camp, what's residency like? Jetty and Sid have their own room. Do they live in a cabin or a staff dorm? Do they get special room privileges because they're the nurses?
Yeah, so
They do.
Nurses it depends on the camp, but nurses tend to have their own buildings, at least in the camps I've been at. So, yeah, Cindy and Jedediah are in a nurse's building, and the building is like a little nicer than the cabins, where there's tile in the building, I imagine, or like, you know, I don't know how to say it, like not tile like ceramic or whatever, but tile like the kind of plasticky, you know.
It's plaster.
It's plaster, yeah, plaster tile. And then they have one room, and like they both have an office because it's like a stacked nurse's place. And then everyone else is in cabins. I realize that we don't have a place for Matthew.
Like sleep in the cabins with the campers, I should say. Sorry.
Yeah, counselors sleep in the cabins with the kids, but I realize we don't have a place for Matthew. He sleeps in the kitchen.
He does. No, he empties out his big cauldron at the end of the day, and he climbs in there.
That's really good.
It's like the TARDIS. It's like a whole like 5-star hotel accommodations in there.
All right.
And they're always wet with soup, all the furniture and such.
Did she give me cut?
No, you need to go like around to get cut.
Okay, but there is no around.
You need to go to Route 31 now.
I guess the people on the battle might have been gone now, because there were like some kids battling that were blocking me.
Oh, I bet.
I bet.
James Big Gay says, is Jedediah neurodivergent? Yes.
Yes. I've been thinking about this because I really don't like when stories are way too on the nose, because it starts to feel like there's like nothing of value actually being said. But all of like Cindy and Jedediah specifically are written just like supposed to be explicitly neurodivergent, and it's not like in any way where it's like exploring the intricacies of neurodivergency. It's just that that's how bitches are.
That's how we are, so that's how we had to write our characters.
Yeah.
Indigo Camp Elephant says, I wasn't fast at getting a question in, but could I have an imaginary high five from Mayfield or Bilov? I'm not that picky. Wow.
Alright, who is it gonna be? Wow.
Well, they clearly prefer you.
wait, are they saying Mayfield or Beloved because they don't actually care?
They said Mayfield, and then in parentheses, or Beloved. I'm not that picky, and that was like bolded.
Okay, well, I can give you a high five. Oh my god, everybody care me.
Everybody care you. I'm skipping over some questions because we don't have all the time in the world, and sorry if I skip over yours. It's because it's already been answered, probably, or it's just a joke.
Mm-hmm. I've made no progress.
Cletus says, are we going to see the other counselors like Marisol and Yvonne have more screen time in future episodes? Yes.
Yeah.
Yvonne especially is particularly relevant to the overarching story.
Yvonne and Rowan in season 2 kind of becomes the B plot.
Yeah. You'll see more of every you'll see more of a lot of characters.
Yeah. Someone says they want to thank us for realistic ND rep. I don't know. Well, like, it's sad because people say thank you for the great rep, and it's like I don't want to be thanked. More like I just really wish it wasn't something that you had to thank me over.
Yeah.
But thank you for the appreciation, I guess.
James Big Gay says, will we ever hear from Lucille? Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Lucille has a voice actor on the roster. Now I'm on Route 46. I don't need this.
Also, who would win in a fight? John Martin or Sydney and Jetty? It depends on what point in the stories they're at.
Oh god.
Actually, Actually,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
because
be
okay,
no,
season 4 Jedediah could beat the shit out of season 1 John.
season four just um not gonna get too much into it, but if we're talking like the final stage versions of all the characters, then John and Martin would win. And if we're talking like the early stage versions of all the characters, then John and Martin would win because I believe that Martin could take John, Sydney, and Jedediah all at once. If we're talking like the season 1 versions of every character.
As much as I mean, Sydney couldn't win any fight.
Right. Sydney's dead weight. It's all on Jedediah.
Don't call Sydney that.
I'm sorry, but in a combat situation, it's less about Sydney and Jedediah like tag team fighting, and more about Jedediah like protecting Sydney.
How good can Jedediah protect this?
Yeah, it's like capture the flag.
I like that question. I want more questions like that.
But if we're talking like season 1, John and Martin, and like season 4, Sydney and Jedediah, then John and Martin. Then Jedediah has a chance.
There's like a going on 30% chance he could win if luck was on his side. I don't know where to go. Oh, this way.
A pile of dirt on the floor wants to know if we have any boundaries when it comes to Camp Here and There and its characters.
Sure.
I'm not entirely sure what this question entails. I don't want
go ahead.
to see. I mean, there's certain things that I am morally opposed to, like pedophilia. I mean, I don't want anyone like associated with anything I've ever created to like ever explore that, in their fan work. But I'm hard pressed to think of anything else.
Yeah, I appreciate the sentiment that the question is asking. I understand the idea that, you know, a creator sort of has to give their work up to ever having any autonomy over it. And I appreciate the sentiment of sort of going against that idea. But in actuality, like, I don't know if there's anything that we can say that someone won't do. And as far as boundaries go, I mean, just think critically about what you're doing. Like, be careful about how you interact with things just in general. Have some more consideration about what your actions do when you...
Here's what I want to say. I'm not going to be like... I don't feel like you need to worry about how you're affecting us with your fan works.
Yeah.
I think you need to worry about how you're affecting like the people who actually like are around you when you create anything.
Because we joke, but it's like we have our own. Like, we're not gonna like... It's not gonna destroy us if we see like something that's like vaguely uncomfortable.
Yeah. So just make sure that you're not creating content that could hurt like people who don't deserve it.
Someone in chat, Michael Crack Barnett, asks, I'm so sorry, that was very disrespectful of your name. I didn't know how to pronounce it at first. Michael Crack Barnett says, any chance of ever doing live readings of episodes later on down the line? Why not? I don't know. Sounds fun.
Didn't think about that. Yeah, maybe.
Oh yeah, the trainers are gone.
Sid/Teeth Clothespin says, what kind of art does Marisol make? Abstract, character, landscapes?
Oh, I imagine she's a character artist. What do you think?
I imagined that she like illustrates for kids' books.
I also imagine she has like a webcomic.
Oh god, she would. Yes, she would.
Yeah, she has like a cute little webcomic that's like similar to like
a Cucumber Quest kind of thing.
Yeah. Or like Cycle ATM.
Right.
But like that really like scribbly style, you know?
God, and the way you pronounce that. He's referring to Close Your Eyes, Look at the Mountains when he says Cycle ATM.
Oh. I love that comic. That comic makes me so happy. And I feel like that's something like Marisol would have like that really scribbly, like thin style.
That's cute. Yes, yes. since Willwood is canon to the Camp Here and There universe,
Who said this?
pile of dirt on the floor.
All right, I guess so.
I mean, I don't remember ever saying that, but
Yeah, me neither.
here's what I'll say. No, you know what? Here's what I'll say.
Mhm.
Willwood used to exist, but he doesn't anymore.
Stop! What are you doing? Okay, what's the question?
What is Sydney and Jedediah's favorite Willwood song?
Sydney's is Black Box Warrior. What's Jedediah's? Memento Mori?
Self and Ish.
Self and Ish. Alright. You could have Willwood and Camp Here and There if you donate to our Patreon. That's a joke. That's not a joke. Actually, it's not a joke at all. Please let us produce season 2.
What color would the characters play in Among Us?
Sydney Black.
I think Jedediah would go with like lime green or cyan.
Not orange?
No, not orange for Jedediah. I think white maybe to match with Sydney.
That's cute. Okay, wait. Can we explore this space for a moment? How would the characters play Among Us?
Okay. Jedediah?
Reluctant, okay.
Reluctantly. No, actually,
Does
I think
Jedediah
that
follow
Jedediah-
Sydney around the whole time?
I think that Jedediah would be reluctant initially, but I actually think he could get really into it. He would he would start trying his best eventually.
Do you think Jedediah would follow around Sydney?
Yes, a lot of the time.
Protect him while he
Sydney
looks at the
can't.
cams?
Sydney just looks at the cams. He doesn't know how to do the tasks.
Sydney doesn't know how to do the tasks. He just looks at the cams, and Jedediah stands guard.
Right. And engages in vigorous debate in the chat.
Vigorous debate! What is the debate on?
Like who's
The death
like
penalty.
Right. Yeah, he talks politics with Among Us people. God, worst type of person. I
New
think
type
that
of
the
guy.
Adam
Adam
would
loves it.
like Adam would join like Among Us servers with like random people online, and he would go in the chat and be like, "I'm the imposter." And
And he's
this
not.
person is the imposter, and he's totally not. He's just lying. He's just saying. I just watched the chaos unfold.
No, yeah, Adam's the type to sue chaos. Adam would love Among Us.
The Elephant Man would like he would join like random servers, and then he would like leave as soon as he didn't get imposter.
That's really
Only
funny.
willing to play imposter. Fairy Camper from the Woods says, "How tall is Matthew?" And I'd like to answer a question with a question and say, "How tall are you?"
Matthew can be whatever you want.
No, Matthew is your exact height.
Matthew can't be what you want. I want to say that people drawing Matthew faithfully to my little joke ramble about him having squiggly lines for heads and the cosplay that someone did where they put all their hair over their face. Honestly, like, chef kiss. I think Matthew's like my favorite of like all the like fan-in designs just because it's so like, it's just delightful. It's so silly and fun. Also, when someone took the apron that said, "I'll feed all you fuckers," and changed it to campers, and that's what Matthew wears. It's so fun. It's just good. Oh, I'm on Route 31. I did it.
I'm so proud of you.
It only took 2 hours.
Oh, this is a fun question. Fairy Camper from the Woods. What types of benders would Sydney and Jedediah be?
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm really torn. I think Sydney a waterbender.
I think Sydney's a water tribe avatar.
Aww, that's adorable. That's special treatment protagonist syndrome.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
But I think he could have a very interesting arc with it.
Yeah.
Jedediah is not a bender.
Jedediah
We have this
is
conversation
really-
every time when trying to see, because someone was talking about like what their D&D classes or races would be. It's like Jedediah is just a guy. He's just a person.
Yeah, he's a human.
He's a human.
Um,
So he's a
Jedediah
half-elf,
is
by the way.
just an Earth Kingdom dude.
Yeah, 100%. But 100% Earth Kingdom too.
Yes, no, totally. Emerald says, "Will you be mad if I edit you two singing the semi song over the original video?" I
What's
like
the
that.
semi song? What did we sing?
I'm Sammy, I stay automatic. Honey, add then
Okay.
multiply.
I mean, you can edit it if you want, but it really does sound like disrespecting the old gods.
Right, yeah.
That's sacrilegious.
To Semi's magic.
Yeah, no, Semi did it better than us. I can't say that. I can't like endorse us overtaking Semi in any way. Jedediah is indeed just some guy.
Let's see.
Someone said that the Elephant Man would dox people on Among Us.
This is completely true.
This is so true.
Moonshine the Fox says,
Hello, Moonshine.
what
the
age are most of the counselors? What ages are they? Are there 40+ year olds?
Fox. Yeah,
Yeah, there are.
Warren, for instance. Gracie as well. Rowan.
But most of them are in their 20s.
Rowan and Juniper are like almost 30. I think they're both like 27. Yvonne, Joshua, Sydney, and Jedediah are the youngest. Marisol and Salem, I think, are like a few years older.
Oh, yeah, a little older
A little older.
than. Yeah, I think probably in terms of like months, Jedediah is probably the youngest.
Baby man. Like, point and laugh.
Stupid baby man.
Stupid baby man.
Yeah, Joshua is definitely like was born like a month before him.
I'm about to white out. I hope this doesn't happen to me. Let's hope I can take on a Caterpie. Oh, wait. Oh, this is really bad, actually.
It's a
Oh, I
bug
have a
type against
potion.
type, yeah.
I have a potion. Most humans have moth feelers. I love that. I love that idea in Camp Here and There. I can't say that it's canon, but I love the fun there. That's a lot of fun. That's what I like about this a lot too, is that I feel like Camp Here and There gives a lot of room to explore really fun concepts without actually taking anything out of the believability. Like Jedediah having moth feelers, like he could, and it wouldn't change anything about the story, but it's totally plausible based on just like the world itself. So I think it's cool.
I'm gonna tackle this one last question, and then I gotta go.
Okay.
From Yilo Camp Seashell Collector.
Oh, Yilo.
This is more of an opinion question. Do you think a neurodivergent person can write a neurotypical character? Do you think one could study that sort of mindset and write it, or is there a potential lack of understanding there? Do you think it's possible for a neurodivergent person to write a neurotypical character? Yeah, I mean, we did with Joshua. So.
I mean, okay, wait, sorry. The question was, can a neurodivergent person write a neurotypical character so it's not vice versa?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, theoretically, yeah. But it's just, I feel like, I don't know this for certain, but like how you interact with the world is so colored by like things like your sensations, and like sensory things, and like your abilities to cognitively understand the world. And from what I understand, neurodivergence is just makes everything a little bit different. But I also feel like any sort of division, like any sort of divisive ideas about pathologization in general, not to soapbox, pathologization in general, any sort of divisive ideas are going to end up falling flat because humans don't work that way. We're all much more similar than we are different. So, I don't know. That's my long-winded way of saying, yeah, it can.
Yeah, I think that anyone who has engaged with the people around them sufficiently to understand what makes people work can write any kind of person. And I don't think that it's wise to suggest that certain types of people shouldn't try to
Or that
write
they
certain
can't.
types of characters.
Hey, guess what? Silverwolf was gonna die from poison and survived at 1 HP.
What a fucking legend.
He held out. Yeah, I just generally don't suggest divisive language like neurodivergent being so cut off from neurotypical people. Like, it doesn't work like that. It isn't so divisive. Neurodivergent is simply a utilitarian tool just to help with people cope with things that they have harder times with than other people. That's it. Like, everyone, that's it, you know? There's no need to make anything more out of that.
There's something to be said about how people have people I see people try to put themselves into boxes,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like people in the course of trying to define their identities, they'll restrict their own expression, like
Mm-hmm.
saying that suggesting that because I have such and such mental illness, I must behave such and such way. I don't want to get into it right now, but it's all capitalism's fault.
Yeah, it's also like, you know, the idea that you have to have a consumable identity that is easy to identify so that people can consume you.
Like right when they see your online bio.
That is meant to be marketed and meant to be profited in some way.
Anyway, thank you for the opinion question, Milo.
Yeah.
The real answer is a neurodivergent person can write a neurotypical character as long as it's only as a joke. Like with Joshua.
Like with Joshua.
We created Joshua as a prank to you.
All right.
All right, bye y'all.
Okay.
Thanks for showing up.
Yeah. Okay, everyone. Thank you for watching the stream. And letting us answer your questions. Make sure to sign up for our Patreon if you want us to keep doing this and support us. Also, our YouTube needs to be monetized, so just if you want, you can subscribe and watch our stuff, and it would help us a lot to continue producing Camp Here and There. So yeah, it was great having you all.
Bye.
Bye.